Do you see this bell icon here? Hit it now and we'll ensure you get delivered the very best of reviews, interviews and pop culture content.
In Disney Plus Hotstar's latest original series, Human, we're taken into the murky world of evil pharma companies, illegal drug trials, and medical corruption. The show, created by Vipul Shah and Moses Singh, is set in Bhopal and follows the events surrounding a desperate, failing pharma company's attempts to illegally push through a dangerous, life-threatening new drug for human trials. As they cut corners and chase profit, of course, deaths follow and the bodies start piling up. Pulling the strings behind the scenes is the head of Bhopal's premier hospital, the cult leader like Dr. Gauri Nath, played by a quietly sinister Shefali Shah, who's willing to make any number of shady deals with seedy companies and crooked politicians to see her dream of a new state-of-the-art hospital come true. Through giving us various different perspectives of the bad guys at the top, along with the honest doctors, victims, and journalists who are trying to shed light on the truth and expose the dangerous racket, the show aims to paint a larger portrait of a vicious system that literally feeds off the lives of the poor to fuel the rich. Shefali Shah's soulless Dr. Nath even says at one point that what value do poor people have anyway? If they're dying for the sake of a new drug, then at least their useless lives have some worth. For the most part, Human feels like a fairly well-researched, adequate drama which makes a genuine attempt at giving us fleshed-out characters to help shed light on an evil, corrupt system. It's also just a genius move to cast Shefali Shah as a darker, more despicable character. But even an actor of her caliber can't help turn a mostly competent drama into a compelling one. Human is a serviceable at best investigative thriller which only really leaps off the screen and sucks you in moments. It's not particularly unwatchable, nor is it ever all that absorbing. Throw in that exhausting runtime, which the show certainly doesn't earn, of 10 very long, poorly paced episodes, and it's at times just a slog to get through. The biggest issue here is that writers Moses Singh and Ishani Banerjee construct an unfocused narrative with so much plot and so many moving parts that after a point I couldn't even tell what the main focus of the show is anymore. There's the botched drug trial and illegal testing on the underprivileged along with the cover-ups, which then extends to all the hospital politics and Dr. Gauri Nath's dream of a new hospital, which also then tries to tie into the victims of the Bhopal gas tragedy. Along with a whole track which I just couldn't seem to follow about a group of kidnapped women held hostage to test a new drug aimed at erasing trauma or something. After a point, it just feels like the show loses sight of what its main target is, and it all just seems to come under the wider, vague umbrella of shady stuff that goes down within the medical community. And in the absence of sharp writing and potent drama, you're left being blandly educated about a horrid reality by characters who you don't really feel all that much for. When the show tries to delve into their personal lives, it doesn't have you care about them as much as it does just distract from the main plot. Human is a medical thriller which just doesn't have the same scale, emotional heft, or command over its subject matter of riveting shows like last year's Dopesick, which used a similar structure of different perspectives to explore America's tragic opioid crisis. Nor does it have the razor-sharp focus and specificity of Amazon Prime Video's Lakhon Mein Ek Season 2, which similarly told a haunting, well-detailed and personal story of medical corruption. Also, I gotta say it, this is clearly a very important story, and I can kind of see why the makers thought that this might have been the right time for it. But do audiences right now really want to watch 10 very long, very intense episodes of sick people in hospitals being very sick and dying gradually while being very sick? It's like, look around and read the room, people. Even the show's fine cast peppered with genuinely talented actors isn't enough to help uplift the proceedings to any more than is on paper. But it's the always earnest Kirti Kulhari who stands out as Dr. Saira Sabharwal, the honest doctor in a rotten system who must rise above the temptation and manipulation and take a stand. In the end, for me, Human is yet another middling, unremarkable show from Disney Plus Hotstar. Despite their factory line of originals, barring Ram Madhvani's Arya and a handful of others, most of the streaming giant shows are functional at best. They're all promising concepts with strong talent attached that aren't terrible enough to discount, but nor are they particularly distinctive enough to be memorable. Somewhere buried within Human are all the building blocks of a great thriller. They're just infected by a heavy overwritten plot, uninteresting characters, and an exhausting runtime. Warning, side effects include extreme restlessness and wanting to rewatch Dopesick and Lakhon Mein Ek Season 2 instead. You can watch Human on Disney Plus Hotstar.